Apart from the weather and rising prices, the Manx farming industry is constantly aware of the danger from significant livestock disease like foot and mouth. There was an outbreak of foot and mouth in the UK in '67, then again in 2001. In 2001, major restrictions were brought into the island to protect the Manx herd. At that time, Graham Crowe, who farms in the Baldwin Valley, described the dangers to farming correspondent John Kennaugh. Incidentally, we still don't have a set-aside quarantine facility.
I think really what it does is help to focus your attention on the little things, the detail of things, and really minimising the risk to yourself and to your business and the risk of spreading anything that may well be around. That's the unseen threat, something that you can't see. You can do nothing about anything which is wind-borne or which could be brought into your premises by birds, for example. I was just thinking about that this morning. On a regular daily basis we're getting visits from probably 6 or 8 different species of birds, right from a massive flock of rooks that descends on the trees around the buildings here every night just before dusk on their way to the Ingerbreck rookery, from that through to the sort of magpies, greybacks, blackback gulls, herring gulls, ravens, and all the little birds that are flitting in and out. And I think they probably realistically pose just as big a threat to us as anything that anybody might bring onto the farm inadvertently.
And a sheep shed has to be open and quite inviting to those. There's feed in there, you have to have access for ventilation. There's no way we can keep those out.
No, but we don't have the massive flocks of starlings that they have across in the UK, and that's one thing in our favour, I think, here. That really must pose a big threat across in England and the British Isles in general, the flocks of starlings that move around from farm to farm, feeding and making a general mess of things.
The facilities for keeping animals separate when they come into the island, quarantine facilities at the port, I think surely that must be something that must now come sooner rather than later.
Yes, that's one of the things that we certainly need to absolutely hammer out once this thing is all done and dusted on this occasion. This is not the time for sort of recrimination and asking why hasn't this been done and the benefit of hindsight, etc., etc. But over the course of the last 20 years, I think we've consistently been asking for a quarantine facility. It's a very basic requirement of an island community where you need to protect yourself as much as possible from the potential infection from outside, and somewhere where imported stock can be taken and remained in isolation for the proper period of time, possibly 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it would take, before they're introduced onto the farm where they're going with the intention of improving the breeding. And in my opinion, if that facility had been in place, then there's absolutely no need for the big pig herd to have been destroyed that we've seen. The implications of that are not only there on that particular individual farmer, but that'll be felt throughout the rest of the livestock sector on the island, because a big herd like that was producing a lot of pigs every week for the meat plant, and somebody's going to have to pick up the extra costs that'll impose on the rest of the producers now.